5 things I wish I had known before I started my sewing business. Number 1, there's an overwhelming amount of work. I was always an employee before, and I never had to worry about work. You just show up when they tell you to, leave when they tell you to. And there's always that fear when you first step into entrepreneurship. Is the phone gonna ring? I've heard stories of people praying for the phone to ring. They open their business, they cut the red ribbon, and just crickets. There's no response. There's no need for it in the community, whatever, and it's a flop. And I feel like when you first step into any type of business, you kind of are afraid of that. With sewing, in my experience, and also with the hundreds of other seamstresses that I've helped get established in business, that just is usually not the case. There's not a lot of people who sew nowadays, as you probably know. So that really helps. There's not a lot of competition out there, and there's always a need for alterations, mending, what have you. So no, I can truly say I've been in the business of sewing for, I don't know, almost 20 years now, and I've never had to worry about work, not once. There's always, in fact, actually just been almost like too much work. It's been a lot to manage, to get back with everybody and to figure out how much is too much to say yes to. And that's one of the most common problems that people have when a professional seamstress comes to me and they need some coaching or whatever. It's almost always, how do I know when to say no? Because I keep overcommitting and I have too much work to do. So yeah, you probably don't need to worry about, are you gonna have enough work? So the way I figured I would do this is I'm gonna do kind of like positive, negative, positive, negative. Even though it's 5 things, I wanna just kind of cover all the bases. I don't wanna be, you know, overly hyping you up. And I also don't wanna be a Debbie Downer. So I want to be really balanced in how I approach this. So the first thing was positive. This next thing is negative. Oh, by the way, I should introduce myself, Brenda LeBolt, and I run a business called Bridal Sewing. You can go to www.bridalsewing.com and learn all about different courses that you can take to get into the business of bridal sewing. But this channel that you found yourself at is actually called Sparkle Sewing, and I like to focus on the transformative power of sewing here. So it's just my cozy little corner of the world, and all sewing levels are welcome. So number 2, remember, get ready for the negative here. No matter how hard you work, no matter how beautiful your work is, how hard you try to be kind to customers, you're still probably gonna get some bad reviews, and you're probably still gonna get some unhappy customers. That's just one of the expectations that I feel like it's really important to go ahead and get that out of the way when you start into any type of professional sewing. So when you get a bad review, it's gonna hurt. Especially your first one, you're probably gonna wanna cry in the shower about that. It's really difficult, especially when you've poured your heart and soul into it. And it's one thing too, if you like, I don't know, patch something up for somebody and it's just like a minor thing. But the stakes really can get raised based on what you're sewing. So it's even more disappointing if you're sewing on something sentimental or something like a wedding dress. The stakes can feel a little bit higher, so it can really hurt when people are disappointed in your work. That's just a really important time to have a good sewing community around you, and I'll get to talking about that later. There are some really good ones out there. There's some bad ones out there too. There's some like really mean ones out there, but there's some really nice ones out there. I'll tell you about that later. But yeah, it's just good to have other seamstresses, sewists, seamsters, whatever you want to call them, out there that you can talk to, just to kind of cry on their shoulder when things don't turn out quite as planned. It can really hurt. You can really tend to take it personally, even though it's your business, because it is your handiwork. You poured your heart into it. You did your best, and then someone is still disappointed. So the way I look at it when I get frustrated If I have like a particularly nasty person who maybe harasses me for several days or whatever, tries to do like a internet smear campaign, or like, just if you imagine any of these worst case scenarios, cancel somebody or whatever, what I try to keep in my mind is it doesn't matter what job I do. I'm going to always put my whole heart into it. That's just the way I am. And I'm always going to have to deal with humans. And humans can tend to be unhappy. It's like the saying, hurt people hurt people. So if you're dealing with a client who has been hurt and they're wounded or they're mean or whatever, sometimes there's just not a lot that you can do to overcome that and help them to have a happy experience. I just think of it that way, that there's really no escaping it. So I might as well be doing what I love, which is sewing. If it wasn't that, imagine if I was like, beep, 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 working at, a checker or something in a store. I'm still going to get fussed at. I'm still going to have unhappy customers. So I might as well be doing what I love. 3, the positive. Again, we're back to positive. Yay. The flexibility is amazing. Okay. This one has a little bit of balance put into it. The flexibility is amazing, but it can also be all-consuming. I was a sewing professional when my children were little. I always say, and this is so true, my daughter was literally in the vibey seat behind the sewing machine while I was sewing professionally. She's not even a teenager anymore. Time flies, but I wouldn't have had it any other way. I'm so grateful that I had my own business, could set my own hours, work the number of clients that worked for us in that season. I'm so grateful I had that. But here's the thing, you can plan your business and the communication and stuff that you do with your business any way that you want. But for me, I did still want to give my brides as high touch of an experience as I could. So I tried to do that with availability. That means, I'm home at night and I'm cooking dinner for my family, but after I drop the pasta in the pot, I'm over here texting with a client. When we would be leaving on vacation, I still do this to this day. Leaving on vacation, I know that I've kind of neglected my calendar for a day or two trying to get ready for the trip, but I know on the way to the vacation, I'm going to be sitting in the car, texting with brides, setting up their appointments, getting my calendar all squared away so that hopefully I can kind of let it take a back burner or a back seat on the vacation and give me a little bit of a break. But to be completely honest, and this is just the way I was committed to my business, may not work for you. I don't think I ever went on a vacation that I didn't take my dayminder or calendar, whatever you want to call it, that I didn't take it with me. It always came with us because sometimes emergencies would come up and I would need to scramble and find out when a bride was scheduled. Now, of course, if you have a digital calendar, it may be easier. You may feel like you're not lugging it around, but you are in a sense. So, I just found it wasn't that I was able to work less by being a small business owner. Far cry from that. But it was more flexible and I could work it around my family. That would be things like put the babies down to sleep for the night, and then I would go downstairs into my sewing area at my house and get my sewing done. So during their formative years, my sewing studio was in the home, and I loved having that where I could be right there. After they had both started school, I was full-time and had a dedicated sewing studio, which is still not right for everybody. It just depends on how you feel. I liked having those things separated. Number 4, entirely positive. Woohoo! Entirely positive. This shocked me, okay? I could easily hit 6 figures. Why was that shocking? I guess because I always was told that people won't pay for sewing. that people think it's like this demeaning job, and they always do this thing. This part's true. Like if you're hemming pants or whatever, and you say, oh, it's $20 to hem the pants or whatever your price is, and they'll say, $20? I only paid $5 for them. And so they think that your price is somehow correlated with what they paid for the thing, which is nonsense. But very quickly, I found out if I moved into bridal and formal wear, which is it's not a difficult step up to make. And obviously I have over 600 videos teaching you how to do it. So dive right on in. I'm here to help you. I want more people in this business. That's what I started the channel for, is I wanted seamstresses to not be afraid to get into this. I'm happy to help you, all walks of life, all experience levels. You can learn to sew, and you can go as far with it as you want. But I was shocked to find out that once you get into the higher paying areas of sewing, I could make such good money for my family, and it has been a tremendous blessing for us. So let me tell you a funny story. One time I was working a wedding, and this wedding was probably 3 hours away from where I live, and the bride was very, very well-to-do. So oh, by the way, people accuse me of AI stories. I do not have AI stories on here. I have got so many stories. I don't need AI stories. This is 100% true. So the bride, her dad was the CEO of a bank that, like, if I named the bank, you would all know it. Okay, they were very well off. I say CEO, I'm not sure about the structure of the banks, but he was like up, top. So anyways, this bride had 3 dresses, and she had hired me for wedding day services, which I have a video about that too if you want to learn about it. You can even do that even if you're not fully into bridal sewing for alterations yet, if your skill level is not there yet. If you are really good at hand sewing and you have an emergency kit, you can do wedding day services and make really good money at it. But anyways, I was hired for wedding day services. So with the cost of the wedding day services, it would cover, like my husband and I stayed in a very nice Airbnb. The bride had a vendor table where she fed the vendors, all of them, a sit-down meal, just like all the guests. It was very, very generous of her. She was a wonderful bride. That morning before the wedding, we're eating breakfast at this bed and breakfast, and my husband and I really wanted a table of just he and I hate it. I don't like forced social situations. By the time we get down there for breakfast, all of the 2 tops were gone, and it was just this one large dining table. So we had to sit with other people. So we're sitting around, and of course, as Americans do, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? There's this one woman at the table who was like incredibly rude. And when I said I'm a seamstress, she's like, oh, yes, my mother taught me to never go into any type of seamstress work. She said, you know, you'll never be able to make more than $10 an hour. She said that at the table with everybody around me. And I'm just like, what do you say to that, you know? And clearly I was making way more than $10 an hour. So at the reception, we're all sitting around the table, the vendors together, and the photographer starts talking about what different vendors make. This is within 7 hours of each other, okay? The woman telling me you can't make over $10 an hour. And then this wedding photographer saying, you know, just generally to the table, he's like, oh yeah, there's this, he didn't know who I was. Okay, he just knows I'm a wedding vendor sitting at the table. He has no idea who I am. So he's like, oh yeah, there's this seamstress, and she does this special service and whatever that she offers her clients. And he's like, he said a couple of identifying things about this seamstress, this mystery seamstress. And I was like, I think you're talking about me. And he was like, no, I'm not talking about you. And I'm like, I think you're talking about me. So anyways, within just a few hours of each other, I was told that I would never make over $10 an hour. And then I was also told by a wedding photographer that I make, you know. So everybody's got their opinions about what you can make sewing, all right? But I'll just say that I just feel like with knowing how needed this skilled trade is, and that you can get very fair rates for it, I feel like you can make a very fair living with it. So if somebody tells you one way or the other, okay, on the one side, if somebody tells you you're going to be broke if you become a seamstress, don't believe them. If they tell you that you're going to be, you know, you may not want to believe them either. Just know that it's going to be a very fair amount of money that you make as long as you're pricing yourself fairly. The market will support that, so you don't need to be afraid that you're not going to make any money. It's not like that at all. It's been really profitable. Number 5. Now, based on your personality, this is going to be positive or negative. I'm going to go ahead and say that it can be negative for a lot of people, okay? Sewing is isolating. So if you are just yellow lab, golden retriever, extrovert, people. Sewing professionally can be very isolating, and it can really take a toll on you emotionally. So be prepared for that. That's the negative side of that, okay? But the way to remedy that is if you're just really extroverted and you need all those other people for your energy, there are some really great communities out there. I do run like a free sewing community on Discord if you want to join it. The information is on my website, again, bridalsewing.com. I'll also try to put it in the video description or something, or the pinned comment down there somewhere. But we have the kindest sewing communities. So I know sometimes like these Facebook groups and whatnot, they get a bad rap for having like mean people in them. I have personally run into a lot of them, and I saw a need for a really kind community. So I did start a sewing community, and the Discord community is absolutely free for you to join. Never a fee for that. So that way you can have like friends and stuff to chat with. Okay, so the flip side of sewing is isolating is that personally, I'm a big time introvert. So you wouldn't know it if you met me at a conference or a retreat or something like that. I can be very outgoing and personable. That to me is not what introverted means. Introverted just means I need a lot of alone time to recharge. So I'm perfectly fine going out and meeting people. I'm not shy. All of that's fine. But I need my good 8 hours alone to feel human again. So I love the fact that sewing is isolating. It's just quiet for me. I can just put on my headphones or earbuds and, you know, put on a long podcast. You can turn on my channel and listen to the soothing background sounds of somebody with some happy, cozy chatter. And that's what a lot of seamstresses do, by the way. I cannot imagine after being able to work alone as many days a week as I do, having to go back into like a workforce where I was like in a sea of cubicles and had to work with a bunch of people. That would just suck the soul out of me. No, please. And in fact, I have a few girls that work for me here, but I try to schedule them all on the same day. So that way, the other days I get the solitude that I need. It wouldn't work for me if I had one girl coming in each day. I really like my alone time. So if you cherish it, I think you would love that about sewing professionally as well. Everything here is not just about bridal, so make sure you watch this video. YouTube knows that you would love it. It's one of my transformations. Also, YouTube knows you would love this one. And don't forget to hit subscribe so you don't lose track of me. Thanks for joining me.